by default, a subprocess is embedded into its parent process, meaning that the content of the subprocess, the steps that make up the subprocess, are available within the same process model. Hence, there is no visibility outside this enclosing process model that we call the root process model. However, it is possible in BPMN to store the content of the subprocess outside its parent process, its root process itself. So that means that, for example, in a process modeling repository, this would be two separate files, one for the subprocess and the other for the root process, whereby the root process has a link, a pointer, to the subprocess. So this is achieved by means of the call activity, which is nothing else than a subprocess, so the notation of the subprocess, but with a thicker border. And the actual content of the subprocess, the one that is stored as a separate file, is called global process model. So the idea is that we can maximize reuse across different process models, and we can also improve the consistency across the whole repository. For example, if we need to edit a global process, so some steps that are shared by two or more parent processes, by having these steps stored as a separate global model, then there is only one place in the whole repository where these steps can be modified, and the changes will be automatically refactored, cascaded into all the root processes that invoke this global process. But let's take a look at an example. In the context of a financial organization that provides various loan products, so we can see two root process models, one for approving home loan applications and the other for approving student loan applications. So the idea is that each of these processes would have some differences from the other. For example, in the case of the home loan application, if there is low liability of the applicant, then the loan request will be rejected. Whereas in the case of the student loan application, if the student has debts, a student loan will be conditionally approved. In any case, there is an activity called sign loan, which is shared between the two different loan products. So whether you are applying for a home loan or for a student loan, at some stage you may need to sign the loan, in which case we can define the content of this subprocess as a global process model that is available at the same level as any other model in the repository, so can be invoked from within each of these two loan application processes, because the content is going to be the same. So using call activities is actually the default choice in order to maximize reusability and improve consistency, so avoid potential inconsistencies in the repository.